to talk about Jen Psaki and Jon Stewart today. And, one of the things that I continue to try to wrap my mind around, and you guys can, let me know your thoughts, but I try to wrap my mind around, like, are these people, like, complete idiots? Are they just completely clueless because they live in a bubble? Do these folks think that they're some type of genius by blatantly lying and thinking that, eventually they'll believe us? Like, I'm just confused. I really am, and I'm gonna talk about that a little bit with these couple of clips that I have for you guys in a podcast with Jon Stewart's podcast, and he brought on Jen Psaki, and I've got a couple of clips that I want to show you guys. In this first clip, he asks Jen Psaki if she is a mouthpiece for the Democrat Party. And, or is MSNBC, a mouthpiece for the Democrat Party? And just listen to her reply and what she has to say about that. With that being said, let's dive in.
Here at MSNBC, do they come to you every day and go, here's what we think is important to preserve and fight for whatever?
No, everybody gets a zillion press releases and pitch calls, but no.
No. I'm talking about the head of it.
Oh, no. You determine, we determine, each of us for our shows, here's what I'm going to cover today, and here's what I'm going to talk about, and here's what I think is important, which there's an independence-ish of that. And there also is, you're not waiting to be told what to say about anything. You're going to say what you think. So people can trust that, and that is a good thing.
See, I disagree with that. I think it's not that you're able to be independent. It's that you're then a prisoner purely to the minute by minutes. Purely
You mean in terms of ratings?
The ratings, incentives, and all those other things. If you don't have the ideological component, right, then you don't have a governing authority of editorial authority, right? The greatest trick Roger Ailes ever played was he delegitimized editorial authority while exercising absolute steel trapdoor editorial authority.
The greatest thing he did, because it led them to be an arm piece, a mouthpiece of the right wing.
It led them to be exactly what he wanted it to be, which is an effective expression of his worldview.
And MSNBC, I am unburdened by not having, I can share whatever I think. I have obviously worked in Democratic politics for 20 years. I don't hide anything about that. It is a progressive leaning network, but nobody is, to the frustration at times of many elected Democrats, it is not a mouthpiece of the Democratic Party.
Yeah, you just heard her say that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if she's just, I'm confused. Like, you honestly said that out loud? You're not a mouthpiece? Like, on one hand, I get it. It's not like she would come out here and blatantly say, oh, yeah, we're just all lying on MSNBC. That's all propaganda. Like, of course not. She's not going to blatantly say that. But, there's ways of implying that without actually saying it and going that far with it. But no, she went the complete opposite direction. Absolutely not. We're not propaganda. We're not mouthpieces for the Democrat Party. Really? Well, that's quite interesting. In this next clip, watch how she just acts surprised when Jon Stewart asked her this question.
I've been shocked by how undemocratic the Democratic Party can be.
Tell me, what do you mean by, I don't disagree with you necessarily, but what do you mean by that?
By putting their foot on the scales to get, make sure that Hillary Clinton comes out of the thing, or make sure that, that they're listening to that anger about the way that even the ACA, quite frankly, struck me as a very conservative.
You mean because it didn't have a public option in it?
Correct. That it didn't address the very thing that was causing the foundational upset. If I were to break this down narratively, what I think the Democrats have forgotten is government may not be perfect, but it's the only thing large enough to offset multinational corporate exploitation and corruption.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't act like that's urgent and that affects people's lives, then so if the big policies that we make are billions more dollars to insurance companies that we think are fucking people over left and right for their health care, so isn't that part of why people lost faith?
Yeah. So yes, I think we're saying, well, I'm trying to say something similar, which is this.
Boom, boom.
Which is Democrats just lost everything. They control nothing. They control, I mean, they don't control the House, they don't control the Senate, they don't control the White House, and they don't control the Supreme Court. So now is the time to break some shit, right? And break some China.
They do control the email lists that continue to ask for money.
Well, that's true.
They still.
Yeah, they're going to need a whole lot of that with USAID getting shut down, their money train. All right, their little gravy train is going to be shut down. But yeah, there's a reason why they don't control anything right now. In the words of Joe Rogan, Democrats fucking suck. They suck. Flat out. Absolutely suck. The party that screams, democracy, democracy, democracy. You heard Jon Stewart allude to that a little bit. Kind of pulled the levers of power to make sure that Hillary Clinton was the candidate. Just recently, they made sure that there wasn't a primary and Kamala Harris was the candidate. And, you know, once again, shooting themselves in the foot. Who knows? Had Bernie had been the candidate in 2016, maybe Bernie would have won. I know a lot of people that were big fans of Bernie. Not so much anymore because Bernie has actually shown who he really is. But maybe he would have won. If Kamala Harris wasn't the candidate this year, who knows? I doubt it. I doubt anybody else would have won. I think Trump had way too much momentum, but who knows? We'll never know. All coming from the party that screams, democracy, democracy, democracy. Even though we don't live in a democracy, we live in a constitutional republic. But anyway, y'all get the message. Jen Psaki then went on to accuse Joe Rogan and Theo Von of being mouthpieces for the right. Yeah, Joe Rogan, the guy who didn't want Trump on his show, like blatantly said it, no, I don't want Trump on, has had some bad words to say about Trump, right? Was a big Bernie fan, had Bernie Sanders on the show and refused to have Trump on the show, loved Bernie, okay? Yeah, that guy is right-wing now because he said, yeah, y'all just tripping. You guys remember the meme that said, I didn't leave the left left me? Okay, and it's that stick figure that's standing slightly on the left side, but then the whole thing shifts, so now they're on the right. That's what I see Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan hasn't really changed a lot of his opinions if you listen to him talk, but the left has shifted so much that now they're calling him right wing, but in reality, he's still the same guy.
And 4 hours of Joe Scarborough shouldn't be allowed in this country. and then like Rachel Maddow, like it's schizophrenic at times. Like, yeah, I do think there should be some semblance of an idea that, look, they're kicking progressive ass right now. And if progressives don't organize their media, their think tanks and all that, it's going to continue to happen. It's chaos.
Well, I will say, broadly speaking, what I'm not going to say Democrats, I'm going to say people on the left do not do that the right does very well is support within the system each other. I'm serious. Like, and what I mean by this is this, right?
Yeah.
Theo Von appears on Joe Rogan's show, right? He promotes what Joe Rogan's doing, but they all promote all of the things each other are doing and what the elected officials, I guess, are doing too. And the left is a little bit more kind of discombobulated in terms of supporting the different entities on the left. There is not a left ecosystem that matches the right ecosystem.
But Ailes didn't do that either. It was the principle, the ideological principles, not the party. He and Murdoch the same way. They're promoting an ideological worldview, right? That they believe is correct. And Theo Von and Joe Rogan, I think, are different animals than any of this. Like, I wouldn't say I don't think they're part of any machine.
Don't you think they're but they are still in the right wing ecosystem? Wouldn't you agree?
No, I would think they're in. No, I would consider them in a more probably libertarian comedic complex, more along the lines of, and if you watch or listen to their shows, a lot of times it's just pure like goofing off.
Has nothing to do with politics, and oftentimes, but
almost entirely.
But they are supportive of the Trump enterprise, is what I mean. So maybe I'm loosely putting them in that category?
I think they are supportive, but not. They are not relentless in the Trump enterprise. Like, they are not Charlie Kirk. They are not Ben Shapiro. Like, they are very different animals. They are not invested in the shit that you get picked up and like go to the headlines of media. Yeah, but on balance, that's not what their shows are about.
Boom, bingo. But now they're considered right wing. Like, come on now, you got to be absolutely kidding me. You got to be kidding me. Joe Rogan, right wing, really? The guy, and even in the interview that Joe Rogan had with Trump, Trump had said something along the lines of, "Could you imagine Kamala coming here or something like that? She wouldn't stand a chance," or something like that. And Joe Rogan said, "No, I think she'd do great. I wanted her on the show. I talk to her just like a human, right? I treat her very well, basically." He didn't say those exact words, but something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing here, but so yeah, that guy is considered right wing. That guy, come on now. I think if he was right wing, he would have gave Kamala the middle finger. She didn't want to change things around a little bit and work with him. She wanted things her way, or basically the highway. It seemed a little bit, and I wouldn't have blamed him if he just gave her the middle finger, but he didn't. Because as you heard in the Trump interview, he said, "No, I want her on the show. I think we'd have a great conversation." Yeah. So again, like I'm just confused. Like, are these people idiots? Like, do they think we're dumb? Like, are they just completely oblivious to reality because they live in the Washington D.C. bubble? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just completely lost. Y'all can let me know what you think about that. I think it may be a combination of things going on here. I think part of it is they know that they're lying. Like, there's no way that they don't. But then I also think part of it is that they do live in this kind of bubble, right, of DC. And so they have a distorted view of what's actually happening and how people truly feel. I think that could also be the thing as well. But y'all talk to me. That was just absolutely insane. Insane stuff to say right there. Joe Rogan is part of the right, and what else did she say? Oh, MSNBC isn't a mouthpiece for the Democrat Party. Like, do you think we're dumb? We can clearly see what's happening here, but I do think it's important to call this kind of stuff out because it's just absolutely ridiculousness. Especially when they call people like Joe Rogan part of the right and Fox is just right-wing propaganda. But when you talk about MSDNC and CNN, oh no, we're not mouthpieces for the left. Oh no, absolutely not. But Fox is a mouthpiece for the right, and Joe Rogan is too. Make that make sense. Come on now. But anyway, as always, thanks for tuning in. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.